Hi, this is Cecilia from Scrapbooking Cecilia, and welcome to my tutorial for Graphic 45. And this month I should have making a video tour on my craft room, but I don't have a craft room, so instead of that I already showed you years before, and I'll do it today again. Some projects to storage your material. I will leave you some pictures of two of them that I made for Graphic 45 before. And today, because this is my table here where I work, it's in my bedroom, so I have plenty of storage boxes that I handmade, because I like to do that. I love the 3D projects, and in this case, when I am making any project, album, or whatever I am making, I always have the problem where to put the material that I am using for that project. So I have a chest that you will see in a picture that I made 1 or 2 years ago, I don't remember, for Graphic 45 with the gorgeous elegance. And that's perfect because it has drawers, and so we can keep, and I keep inside my metal embellishments, flowers and stuff like those, okay? But I need something to storage the paper that I am using. So we are going to make a special place to put the papers, to put the tapes and everything we need, or at least what I need when I am working, okay? For this project, I'm going to use the gorgeous Enchanted Forest. When I receive my material, I always use a bag to put inside. Well, this is the DCE collectors collection edition, so it's only this, but I don't mind. I always like to put everything of each collection in one separate bag. I mean, for example, elegance, the leftover papers, chipboards, stickers and everything is in the same bag. In that way, when I need something for a tiny project, I know exactly where is each one of the collections, embellishments and papers, okay? So, and I have a rack and some places where I storage all my papers, but this video is to make something that I need in my table while I am working, okay? So I'm going to use this because I love the color palette of this collection. So this is what I choose, and probably later I will need more because I would love to make an album with this. Also, I'm going to use, in this case, I think this is, let me check how thick is this millimeters. This is 3 millimeters chipboard. I like to use thick chipboard. If you don't have this one, you can use the Graphic 45, but you need to layer 2 sheets to make it storage, okay? So let me tell you what is my plan. First, of course, we are going to need glue. I am planning to use one of these metal handle sets, and the papers, and we need a black cardstock, but I am going to tell you what I do here in Mexico, okay? Because I don't have access to all the material that other countries has, okay? So let's start with the chipboard. Of course, I am going to use enough of this chipboard because I want this to keep everything in one place and close here to my area, working area, okay? So we need 2 pieces because this is going to be like so. These 2 pieces measure 12 1/4 by 12 1/4. All right? Okay. We need 1 piece that measures 12 1/4 by 2. One, and this is going to be my base for one side, we need one piece that measure 12 and a quarter by 2 3/8, and the small one measure 3 by 2 3/8. These two are the same width, okay? Why? Because this is going to be my base. I am going to attach this, but the glue, it's going to be here to put it in this way. This, it's going to be in this way. So this one, it's going to be here, and this, it's going to be here, and this, the small, it's going to be here. And then we can put all the papers here inside. This is piece number 1, okay? So in front, when we have this piece already made here, I am going to add some spaces to the front, 2 spaces, one here and the other is going to be on the top, okay? For the bottom piece, we will need one piece of chipboard that measure 8 by 12 and 7/16, and 2 small pieces that measure 8 by 2 to put this here and here, okay, on each side, on top of the base, okay? This is piece number 2. On top of this, even on top of these pieces, we will add another piece like this one, okay, that we are going to construct with a drawer in the bottom in this way. So we need 2 pieces that measure 12 and 7/16 by 6, and 2 smaller that measure 6 by 2. The paper, because here I cannot find the 12 by 12 cardstock, I use normally the A4 size or big cardstock sheets like this one that measure 25 and 5/8 of an inch wide, and the tall side it's 19 and 3/4 inch. So what I already did with this piece, I cut 4 pieces with the long side of 19 and 3/4 by 1 inch, and they are scored in a 1/2 inch in this way to use them as hinges, and then we will use a piece of this. Now if you don't have this, you can use the 12 by 12 paper cardstock, okay? But because this is not 12, it's 12 and a quarter by 12 and a quarter, you can cut the 12 and then attach the quarter, the extra 1/4 of an inch, okay? I'm going to use this because it is what I have. I already cut 3 pieces. Let me move it because you won't see it. 3 pieces of the black cardstock that measure each one 1 and 7/8 by 12 and 5/8 of an inch. And I have to make a correction. You already are going to watch that in the video, but I want to tell you here, this is not 2 3/8, it's 2 3/16. Let me double check. Yes, 2 3/16, not 8s. Okay, 2 3/16. This is wrong. And of course this side, it's also 2 3/16 the width in these two pieces. All right, so I cut 3 because I am planning to use one in the bottom, one here in the bottom. Of course I am going to make my mark here with my finger, and then I made my nail mark, and then I just need to cut this. Double check if this fits. Yes. And now this is longer because I want to add this in this way, and I want to turn this to this side. Okay, you will see in a moment. And of course the other one, where is that? Let me find it, because everything is black here. I just need to measure. I'm going to make a mark here because it's 3 inches long, and maybe a half an inch more I am going to cut, just to have enough room to wrap that side. Okay, all right. In a moment I'm going to attach this. Let me explain you about this. I cut this at 12 5/8 by 12 5/8, but now here I need to cut this piece. So first I made a mark at 3 inches and made my line, and then I am going to take off 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to cut this piece, okay. And now we need just to be sure if this piece fits here. Yes, probably I can cut a little bit more, and yes, I'm going to do it. are going to continue with the piece number 2, which measure 8 by 12 and 7/16, and I have here a leftover piece of paper that I already made a mark at a 1/2 inch. But first we are going to stick this here and the opposite here as well. Okay, I already add my paper all around except here and here and here, because now we need to join these two pieces. Now we are going to make the drawers for the piece that we are making, and for the bottom I'm going to use 1.5 millimeters. I think that's the measurement to make these drawers. Okay, and my base measure 12 by 7 and 15/16, we will need two pieces, one for the front and one for the back, that measure 12 by 1 and 7/8, and the sides, the pieces measure 7 and 13/16 by 1 and 7/8. It doesn't matter if I give you the right measurements. Sometimes when we cut the papers or the chipboard, in this case, we can move the ruler 1 millimeter or some really thin piece. Okay, so if you need to make adjustments and cut a little bit, I always recommend you to cut tiny slices first. It's better to cut 2 or 3 times, but tiny slices, and instead of cutting one big piece, and probably we can damage the chipboard. Okay, for the second drawer on the top of this, we need a piece that measures 12 by 5 and 15/16, 2 for the front and back, the measure 12 by 1 and 7/8, and 2 that measure 5 and 7/8 by 1 and 7/8. And I am going to construct this on top in this way, and we need to align it all the 4 sides. And when I finish, I am going to cover with the black hinges the inside and the outside. And okay, I am finishing to adding all the black all around all the hinges to make it sturdy, but I want to show you the way that I do it. I have here one of my pieces. I just place it against with this border here, and then just calculate where you need to cut. Now, because this is a thin chipboard, I don't want to press so much here with my bone folder because I am afraid to damage that. So I use my ruler, not in this side, but in this one. I put here this one, and then I press here without fear. Okay, in this way we open a little gap, and it's going to be easier to attach this here. Now I am just pushing this here, and now with my fingers I am just wrapping, and here in the corner I just want to mark my paper in this way. You see, pinch here in both sides, so you will see something like this. I hope you can see it. I'm going to cut this piece just a little bit here and here. Now you can see it, and of course the back I am just going to cut in an angle to have this. Okay, let me do it again here. Why am I doing this? Because I want to cover here. Actually, it's already covered with these sides, but I want you to know how to do it. You see, now this should be easy to put it there. Okay, just remember which side is your front and which side is the front and the back. Okay, and that's it. And you need to add glue even in that little corner or little flap, which is going to cover here. Okay, now just align it, and now I can press here carefully, of course, just to secure it here, and then I am ready to push both sides to the bottom and crease here at the top. And if there is some glue, this is the moment to clean that. Okay, yes, there is so much glue here, so I'm going to clean it right now. Okay, this is almost ready, and I want to show you the papers that I've been using. You can see here, this is a gorgeous pattern. So I use this here, and I just took the, well, this is the 12 inches wide, and it's fine for me. It not come to the very edge, but it's okay. Now this was here. In the back I use this. In the bottom I just use black cardstock, because this is going to be just place it like so. Okay, now the drawers, the bottom drawers, I am going to leave this black, okay, because I don't want to waste my paper here, because the plan is to have this inside. All right, this is the same paper, but this is the opposite side. So I measure here, and then I cover here. In the outside I use this beautiful paper and this one here, and I am waiting to make the other drawer, front drawer, with you exactly in the same way. Now I will explain you in a moment, because I have another thing to explain besides. Here, this is about, I think, 2 inches wide, but you just need to take your measurement and that's it, okay, to cover here and to cover the long side. But now we need to cover here, and I'm going to tell you the way that I already made here. This piece measures 7 7/8, and from here to here it's 5 7/8. All right, the mat, of course, the mat, not the piece from here to here. Okay, 7 7/8 and 5 7/8. From here to here it's going to be 1 7/8. Now this piece is going to be here. We need to remove this piece, this one. Okay, let me move this. So the first thing that I am going to use is turn this to this side, and now I am just going to mark from here to here 5 7/8, and another line in the bottom, 5 7/8. Now we just need, oops, I'm sorry, to join these two marks, and from the bottom to the top it's 1 7/8 and 1 7/8, and again just join these two pencil marks. And now this is going to be here in this, like so. Okay, we need to remove the top piece, this one. Okay, in the bottom we have 1 7/8 tall. All right, this is going to be here. So I cut a piece of the thin chipboard that measure 5 by 1, and I just covered with this leftover paper. Okay, and then I added in the back a piece of black chipboard that measure 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and now we just need to attach this. I use the big one in the bottom drawer, and in the top I'm going to use the small one. It's the same width, but I like them both, so I want to use them both. But I always prefer to add a little bit of a strong adhesive first. And I made my marks. You just need to try to center this piece, of course. Okay, now I am just going to wait. I will attach this to the drawer of camera, but first I let this to be perfectly stick. Using a paper towel roll from the kitchen, I will try to make a kind of tower to put or to hold my double-sided tape, and you can see on the video the way that I am trying to make this form on the top, and then I just need to paint the top in the black acrylic paint to finish this piece. Let me update you. I didn't cover it with anything, just painted with black paint, and I went until maybe a half with a long brush, and also here in the bottom. Before I cut this, I just wrapped the paper and made a mark to see how much paper I need to cut. Okay, you are watching here, and the long is I started measurement leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the top, and mine was 9 because in the bottom I score a 1/2 inch and then cut it in this way. But of course, first we need to make these marks and, well, calculate how to cut. And it doesn't need to be really perfect, not for me, because I am going to use it here, but this is the idea. Also, using 2 circle punches, well, on one it was the outside was a die. I cut paper of this one because it's the paper that I have here, and we need to attach this piece here and then cover the bottom here. Okay, and I think also, let me show you before I move this. I made my box, and you can make the box at the measurement that you want. Mine was 6 by 4.5, 2 pieces, and 2 pieces that measure 2.25 by 4.5. I just joined the 4 pieces in exactly the same way I did it here. I made the hinges, but now here I want to explain you. I just cut a long strip to cover all around here, align it with this edge, but inside I added my hinges. You are watching the flap, it's coming out because I am going to hold here. Can you see it? I will add glue, and this will be here, and then I just cut an extra piece of the same paper to cover that inside. All right, before we attach this piece, now let me remove this already. I am going to cover all of this first. For the inside, I am using the same paper, the red one, and in the front, in the outside, this is going to be my front, so I want this to be here. This is going to be in the back, and I am going to make all of this, and when this is ready, I'll come back with you. And remember, if you want to do it, of course, I prefer to cut a little bit here, the tip, just to avoid that this can be easily set. Okay, and remember, you need to check if this fits exactly where you plan it. Okay, and I recommend you, when you are sure where this piece is going to be, I think it's better if we start gluing the center part, and then we are going all around. Okay, so that's what I am going to do. Okay, I want to give you a tip. Just when you are sure where is this piece matching, and I think is this one, so I am just going to make a mark here with my pencil and a mark here, because I'm going to start right here. I have here pieces of acetate, just pieces remaining from another project, and from the signature sheet I fussy cut the collection name, the dragon that was here. Well, this is turned in this way. This was here, this was here, this gorgeous lady was here, and the warrior, or I don't know, and this is from another sheet, which is this one, and she was here in the bottom. But I like this girl so much. So my idea is cover, because you can see here this is going to be an element to work with, so I don't want to lose my embellishments. That's why I am going to use, like so, stick this guy here to make it sturdier. Okay, I finished the project because it's quite big for the camera, but I am going to explain you exactly what I did. You remember that I back up of all the images with acetate, and you can see here that's the best way, at least for me, to decorate. Let me move this in this way. Okay, first, before I added everything, the first thing that I add was this, even this was later. Okay, first I added this, and I just tried to with my hands. First I thought if I could use my heat gun, but no, I didn't want it to damage the acetate, so using my hands, I just add glue here and bend it a little bit. Okay, now the dragon is here, probably here. I back this with pieces of chipboard just to add more dimension, and I really love it. The chipboard is on the wings and here on the body, and of course with all these tiny, well, they are not flags, I don't remember the name. I use a piece of string cord, black cord, to attach them here in the drawers, and here. Now also I use 3 of the tickets, and the tickets has behind a black cardstock, and later when and also this lady has a chipboard to add dimension. My idea was to try to make different layers to get more dimension, and I am so pleased how this turned out. So when I added all of this in the back, then I stick the box, okay? And remember, I had another piece of the same paper to put it here. And now, okay, let me put this here. I add more of these tiny kind of flags, and this lady is also with 4 layers of chipboard on the back, and this guy has maybe 2, so they are in different dimension. Of course, all the pieces that has behind the acetate, I first fussy cut everything, okay? And then I added this. I just add my glue on the tiny flaps, and then I put inside the circle here just to camouflage a little bit. Because I cut a lot of this, then I added 4 here and here in the drawers, and then 1 here and 1 here. Basically, that's it. No, here there is another, and here is another. And when I finish, I realized that maybe, and you can do it before, well, consider this before you stick everything. I think this and all of these will stand up more if you add black cardstock on the back. But everything was on place, so what I did, I used a brush and my distress ink, and just add a little bit of shadows around all the pieces to make them stand up more from the background. And I think it's a great idea. I love it how this turned. That's it. I hope you like it, and I hope you will give it a try. If you do, please tag graphic 45 or tag me, because I'll be so happy to see what you did. Thank you so much.